Well, hi there, racing fans, and welcome to another edition of Winning Ways, where we've got a tremendous show in store for you because we're going to be interviewing VJ from the Rising Sun. We do it every year. He gives us a lowdown on what's going to go on this weekend. We've got an interview with Sean Tarry in your call. We're going to be chatting Investec Derby. But before that, Kev, nice to have you with us. Firstly, Laf, is he crying in his soup?
I'm a little bit disappointed for him, but Craig Peters put me on the spot on Saturday. He said, who am I supporting? And I was supporting Liverpool. I thought...
A Manchester United supporter supporting Liverpool. There's something wrong with you. You did
I had a choice of two. We weren't even in the play.
Manchester United never supports Liverpool.
No, I know that, but I had to... Craig put me, he said, who are you going to support tonight?
No,
give me a winner. Because I can't tip one on the race card, so I thought in a two-horse race, I've got a 50% chance. And... not the best game, normal final.
Shocking game.
Normal final, that's normally what we expected, but I just went on pure form. Liverpool in the season were definitely a better side than Spurs. Harry Kane coming back from that long-term injury and not playing the other boy who's played so well the whole time, I thought might have made a difference. Harry Kane, I think he's a magician. He's a great player, but bring him on later.
Ring rusty.
Ring rusty, and he was never in the game. Song, never in the game. They were never in the game. They played. Liverpool played them too.
Van Dijk's the genius. He actually is the whole Liverpool team.
And the keeper. Yeah. That's all they needed, James, was two players.
Yeah.
A year ago, 2 years ago, they said we need two players to turn Liverpool around. A keeper and a centre-back.
Yeah.
They got the two best.
Yeah, exactly.
And look at this. And they I was happy for them.
Let's move on because we're aggravating all the Spurs supporters now, and there's a number of them amongst our brethren.
One sitting next to me, is there?
One thing I must say, I watched the SuperSport presentation, and Neil Andrews is a dyed-in-the-wool Spurs supporter.
Yeah.
And he conducted the show absolutely brilliantly. He conducted as a non-partisan. And that shows how good he is as a presenter.
No, he's very good. And he had Dwight York, who's very... Those guys, I love listening to them because they're ex-players and they know exactly the situation and how it's going to work out.
But him as a Spurs supporter, to watch that and the way he conducted himself and conducted the interviews, because he's the anchor. He was different class.
Yeah, if it was me, they would have been looking for another anchor.
Yeah, can you imagine we were the anchors for the Proteas cricket side? Proteas. Yeah. Well, the first thing they did was when they changed the name, that was the end of them. Okay. When they became little flowers, they became little pansies. And I mean, I have never seen a worse display, a more gutless display than they did yesterday against Bangladesh.
You know what, James, what worries me, but not worries me, the question mark was, we gave them a whitewash when they came and toured us, Bangladesh. We whitewashed them, and we go there and we never in the game.
They had a plan, they executed. The first thing we did wrong was we should have batted and put a big total on the board. That's what we should have done.
Second-hand wicket. It was a second-hand wicket.
It was just, the whole thing was completely badly organised. And then they give away their wickets. Firstly,
De Kock
gave away his wicket.
He'd already told the guy no.
Yeah, and then Duplessis gave away his wicket. Yeah. And then a number of the others, David Miller gave away his wicket. I mean, what are these guys doing? Premeditated shots. You don't need to be, when you're a good batsman, you don't need to premeditate. You don't need to put your right foot behind your left foot before the bowlers come up to try and put him off. What do you think? It was actually pathetic. The Sharks were just about as bad.
Yeah, they're dismal.
They just use
whoever's got the best spinners and who can put a little bit of runs on the score will win the World Cup.
Okay, so who's that?
I need to go and do my homework now. I need to go and query it now. I mean, India, they got good spinners. We got India next. How are we going to look in for India? And they're going to have more Indian supporters than South African supporters.
Probably end up beating them.
Yeah, by default. But I'm saying India, we got England. Okay, I was optimistic. I thought, give England a bit of a go.
Yeah.
Never in the game.
Never.
106 short.
Yeah.
Bangladesh, we thought, okay, we'll get our confidence back.
Chasing. Run the toss against Bangladesh. Why the hell would we not put on a score on the board? Let them try and chase us. They're all blaming Ngidi pulled up with a cramp, calf sprain, thigh sprain, whatever he pulled up with.
One swallow doesn't make a summer.
There's a whole lot of players in there. Duomini's meant to be an all-rounder. What is he? He can't bowl. Okay,
no.
Forget it. It's pathetic, and it's very disappointing for all of us. That luckily these are the things that are the highlights of our week. and the horse racing. So let's go and have a look and see what we've got as a 3 to follow. Right, we're going to go to Durbanville at least. We wish this horse would run at Kenilworth, because Kenilworth he'd probably end up winning. But we think that when he gets to the Kenilworth course, he'll be a much better proposition. Bayberry, he's beautifully bred. He's by Flower Rally out of a Dubai destination mare, bred by Wilgerbos and Maritzfontein, and owned by Nick Johnson and the late Jack Mitchell. And let's go and see what happened with this horse at Durbanville on Tuesday, I think it was.
Yeah, he's drawn 3, James. His pedigree says he wants a bit of ground, but he comes out very, very slow, and green is an understatement. Richard Freeze on him. He's got the white cap behind the Rob Bloomberg colours. He's on the fence. He's travelling a little bit now, James. This is the nice part. He travelled just for a couple of strides. There's a big gap in front of him, and now he drops it. I don't say he spits the dummy out. He completely drops it. It's pure greenness.
Yeah, he doesn't know what racing's all about at this stage. And he's a big, strong, backward type horse. The first 2 into the straight run first and second, and that shows the type of race this horse ran. Because here, he's nowhere, and he's not going to be anywhere.
Yeah, he's off the pace, definitely. You can see him, he comes to the middle of the track. Richard ready under a hard rider, but a lovely action horse, James, as you can see. And Richard's just with the hands, and you'll see just a little bit later, he changes the stick, gives him a little bit of backhand, a couple of swishes with the tail. So he's all in all, this horse. He doesn't know to go forwards, backwards, anything. He's got a clear run now. And as you said, the first 2 are well clear. Now you're going to see. This is where it comes into the fore now. And Bayberry definitely looking for a little bit further. Like you say, if it was Kenilworth, ran on very well. They went past quite a few horses, and, well, definitely one to follow at Kenilworth over around the corner. What about a 14 a mile?
Exactly.
Perfect.
But they've got to start somewhere, and that's why we pick them up and we find them and there's guys out there that keep a black book with the 3 to follow.
I would keep a black book, definitely.
Every week they arrive when we've told them, if they're in the right race. The next one, you wonder whether it will be in the right race next time it runs. It's a 2-year-old filly that ran in open company. I mean, this was a cracking run. Won on Wednesday on the poly track. You know, everyone says the poly track, this and that. Good time. The way this filly won, she might be quite decent, but she'll probably end up going into a group race, which might be above her. Let's go and have a look at Gabor running in the last race at Greyville on Wednesday.
Yeah, drawn right on the outside. Transparent as he was, Gavin van Zyl said his barrier trial was very good. He ran 58.2 seconds his barrier trial. He said they had to make up 10 lengths to take him on. So he took his chance from the bad draw, and wow, I thought Keegan gave him a very good ride. He just pulls him back now. He ends up getting cover, turning for him. From the outside draw, he's in the box seat, 1 off. Look at this, James. Absolutely lovely. Got a little bit of cover there, turning for home. The horse in front runs off the fence. Keegan pulls him out for a clear run. Just have a look at this action.
Yeah, she's by King's Barnes out of a trippy mare owned by Drockenstein and bred by them. But when he just asks her here in the hands, he hasn't actually asked her to do more than just quicken up. And she's quickened up very, very impressively. I think it's the first King's Barnes winner. I think he won the English 2000 Guineas King's Barnes. He was a very, very good horse. And that was super impressive. Guided down at the line. I really like the look of that filly.
I won't be surprised if this pops up on July Day.
Well, that's the thing. You end up in one of those races, then you're up against it.
Well,
on
that, I mean, like you say, James, there's 5-year-old mares in this race, 3-year-olds. This is a 2-year-old having its first run. Okay, it's been on the...
shows you the value of barrier trials. That barrier trial just showed it what it was all about.
The barrier trial was at Scottsville as well. So it's virtually first time at Greyville, drawn on the outside.
Very good.
Very good. Well done to Gavin. And he was transparent.
Yeah.
He said, listen, if this horse draws in the first 1, 2 or 3... He says, I'm emptying out. He says, but drawn 11, I've got to have my question marks, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
Question marks.
Okay, let's go and see the best bred horse on the weekend, running at Turfentine, Sunday, 2nd of June, first race. They went round the bend there. And this daughter, Frankel. Now, remember, Frankel had an Oaks winner on Friday afternoon. So he is a Frankel filly. This has got some class in his pedigree. And this was drawn badly as well, but could not overcome the draw and the greenness. Let's go and have a look at Lagetha.
Yeah, another one drawn wide out. You must understand this is the Turffontein inside track. Very important to draw. And yeah, Randall gets her out. And Mark de Kock doesn't run his horses in 5 furlongs. This is a 6 furlongs, so it gives it a little bit more of a chance, but 3 wide the whole way. I mean, you could actually say 3.5, nearly 4 wide. There's also on the inside of it. It's off the fence, but it's in the clear, James. It's showing a lot of pace, which is always a good sign for the 2-year-olds. But just keep an eye on her. She's a lovely, like you say, she's by Frankel, and you just look at overseas, week in and week out, the Frankels are dominating, and she's a lovely filly. I think Mark's got high hopes for her. Still a clear run. You know how fast the inside track is. The horses do get away, but Randall's he's pursuing her. Come on, let's get going now. She's
in the race at this
She's
stage.
in the race. Yeah, there's 4 of them.
But the point is here you'll see she comes under a bit of pressure. She's
Changes her
right on
legs,
the right hand side, and she doesn't really know what to do. But she keeps on plugging on, and then I think the last 50, he says, "Okay, I can't win it. I'm not going to give you a hiding here." And really very close for second. She's out of a fast net rock mare. There is so much to like about her, and she's owned by our mates in Singapore. And I think she's a filly that really is going to, over a mile, she's going to be much better.
Definitely, and her first time out, no barrier trials in Joburg. I would like to say if this filly was in Durban and had a barrier trial,
we would have won.
Different ball game.
No
so
doubt.
this
No
is
doubt.
like the barrier trial. We'll take that as the virtue of the barrier trial. But yeah, by Frankel, keep an eye, like you say, Michael, pop her in a mile. There'll be a queue of guys to ride her. I might even put my name down.
I'm sure you will. Well, Kev, they tell you that maybe make a comeback, but I don't know. You've got all that money you're sitting on to make any comeback at all. So let's go and see where are they now.
I'm Calvin Jupp. I'm alive and kicking. As you know, I was a jockey. I was a jockey for 26 years. Unfortunately, I had a bad injury which forced me to retire and medically boarded due to a bad ankle injury. As you know, it's a tough time in a jockey's life when you're forced to retire, as many who have been through it and are going through it. It's a tough time because it's a new journey in your life. It's a new profession, and that's all we ever knew. The thing I miss most about racing, because I've ridden in South Africa, all over the world, parts of the world, is a camaraderie with your fellow companions, and that's what I really miss about racing. Fortunately, I have very good friends that I'm still in touch with in the racing game, which are jockeys, and they still keep me in the loop and in the mix of things, which is a great feeling. To all the racing fans, all the best out there. To Kevin Shaw and Paul Lafferty, thank you very much for being on your show.
If you've been involved in horse racing in South Africa but have either moved away, immigrated or retired, we want to hear from you. Send us a short 30-second video recording on WhatsApp and we'll flight it on the show. Clips can be sent to either James on 071 588 5769 or Paul on 083 779 1311. We look forward to hearing from you.
Well, there you are, Calvin Jupp, and super young man.
Talented rider, James. He rode with me when I was with David Payne. He's in the Hall of Fame at in Mauritius. He was
Top rider.
Great rider, and you know that also Joey Somers that won the Summer Cup. I can't remember his name offhand. The guys will be sitting out there watching us screaming the horse's name. Yeah. He won the Summer Cup for the Eusters. He went to work at one day at Summerveld and he walked onto the track and the horse took off or something and it threw him off and he landed on the concrete strip in between the bottom track, which is the sand track, not the poly track on the other side, and the grass track, and he snapped his ankle. And we all know that the ankles do take time and it's been, I think, 2 years. he's battled with his ankle and it's swelled up. It's a terrible injury down below there, because we all know the blood, the furthest away from your heart is your ankle, and it never ever healed. And he had an op on it, and he's had pins in it, and he's tried his hardest to get it until eventually they've boarded him now, and he's devastated, because he's still got another good couple of years left in him, and unfortunately now we have to start doing something else. What Calby's going to do is most probably work with his brother and his dad. Stephen's retired now, and Stephen's helping his other brother, Darren. He's got they're putting the sprinkler systems in factories and places like
They've got those overhead fire systems.
But he's doing the big one in Mhlongo Rocks. He's done
and
some big.
Stephen helped with the academy. He helped. Did a fantastic job
there. Stephen Jupp and Robert Moore. No disrespect to the other guys. Everybody else tries. Those two guys definitely have stood out since the old school left. The Cyril Buckham's, the David Caveys, the Vincent Curtises, and that they've really gone to the fore and passionate about the game, which I think is very important.
Right, we're going to take a break, and we're not going to take a break. We're going to go and have a look at the plum of the week.
Call Me Tonight, 300 to go. Tiliki still leads it. Rosa Peru, Missy Barber's on the outside. Amex got 5 or 6 lengths to make up. Susie Wu starts to warm up on the inside. Tiliki, but now Susie Wu comes into the lead, and it's Susie Wu running strongly, and Susie Wu will win it. A matter of what will run second. Second will go to Rose of Peru, then Call Me Tonight, and behind that, Dreams Are Made.
Well, there you go. If you've been on Interbet, you get 4-1 about this filly. This filly had the cheek pieces fitted. You listen to the podcast, we made an absolute blinder in the race. All she was looking for was a little bit of help to get her to concentrate. And, Shane takes his time with him, takes his time for everything to drop into place. Everything dropped into place with this one, and it looked like the absolute blinder. Interbet best bet of the whole weekend, and certainly we should have had a strike. But we're going to take a break. We're going to be back with current affairs.
Whenever anyone asks me for a shrewd tip, my first response is always to tell them, open an Interbet account. That's the biggest certainty that I can give any punter with total confidence. Not only is it a good business, but it is interactive, exciting, and great entertainment as well. My name is Snowy Brown. I'm a sports fanatic, and I'm all about sports betting because of the unpredictability, the enjoyment of the team being the underdog and finishing first, or a team scoring the winning goal in the last seconds of a match to be the victors. The beauty about this is that if I'm betting on the soccer, I can use in-play betting, which allows me to bet across multiple areas of the game. Knowing I have full control of my betting spread and where my money goes gives me satisfaction that Interbet has given me the power to control my bets. In my opinion, Interbet were the pioneers of online and Mobi betting in South Africa and will continue to lead the way. Interbet, where the professionals bet.
Well, the weekend was dominated by 3 big races. You had the 2 big grade ones here, and then you had the Group 1 Investec Derby. We've already told you how the Oaks went, with the daughter Frankel winning. Let's go and have a look at the first one of our big graded races, which was the Woolhavington. Big day here at Greyville, and this was a race where Richard Fourie showed what a class rider he is, because he absolutely pinched us. I have no doubt in my mind that I might get shot down. The second horse should have won a minute. Let's go and watch it.
Giving them about 8 or 9 lengths start. Further back in the runners' B's, they're really starting to stretch out, and then front and centre's got it all to do. As they come for home now with about 500 metres to go in the Woolhavington, and Sylvanas Pride brings them in. Back in second is Chitengo. Return Flight is poised to strike. Santa Clara's going with her. Then Seville Orange front and centre gets hooked right out with Blossom, but Sylvanas Pride still clear by 3 coming to the 200. Return Flight tries to throw down the gauntlet. Front and centre's running all over, but is running on, and it's Sylvanas Pride still holding them at bay. Down the inside, front and centre. Sylvanas Pride front and centre, but Sylvanas Pride won it. Second, front and centre, Blossom third, and maybe Seville Orange ran into that 4th position.
Well, as you can see, front and centre, I expected it to be up in the first 4. I thought Anton would bounce and have her there. Sylvanas Pride went to the front. It very seldom happens in a Group 1 that a horse can get to the front, especially
easy.
Yeah, that easy, and be allowed to lob along. This filly, the second filly, moved up in a common canter, but then ran right across the racetrack.
Yeah, it was
I
strange.
mean, it looked like she couldn't lose turning for home.
Yeah, I thought,
even though she was too far out of her ground.
She made it up very quickly. She's a good filly, James. There's no doubt about it.
She's a cracking good filly.
I think we'll see her lining up on July Day as well.
Okay, well, what I just wanted to tell you was that was Sylvanas Pride. Anthony Peter bred it. The Snaiths obviously trained it, as we've said, Richard Fourie rode it. 22nd Group 1 winner for Sylvana, and 88th stakes winner. Well, it didn't take long for him to get his 23rd Group 1 winner, because then we saw Hawam, and we all waited in anticipation to see how he was. He behaved like a proper gentleman. He did everything right, and he absolutely doddled them. But his time was a second slower than the race before. That is a pointer. Let's go and have a look.
And they're racing, and Awam just threw its head up, and Thanksgiving slow to go when the starter said go. So let's see how they play this. Twist of Fate, Capiera's near the rail. Zilzal is on the outside of runners, and Awam is back in that 4th position. Charles is on the inside. Then Atayeb, and Thanksgiving's the trailer. It's racing about 8 lengths off the leaders, as Twist of Fate takes them in behind the Drool and leads it. Zilzal is back in 2nd position, and Capiera's 3rd. Awam is on the outside of runners in the blue, and its pace is not good. Further back in the runners, Charles. Atayab is on the outside, and then Thanksgiving. So let's see how all this tactics work, and it's Twist of Fate in the Daily News. Zilzal's now challenging for that position. Awam is on the outside of Capiera, Atayab and Charles, and Thanksgiving's in the back seat about 7 lengths off the leader, and Zilzal saying the pace is too slow. Goes on to lead it. Twist of Fate and Awam, they travel together. Capiera, Atayeb, and then comes Charles, and at the back is Thanksgiving. They move towards the 800-metre marker, Zilzal, and Awam has now moved up a half length second. Twist of Fate on a loose rein is third. Atayeb's on the move. Capiera, Thanksgiving, and then Charles. Homeward bound in the Daily News, Zilzal. Now Hawam's getting a flick down the neck to challenge Zilzal for that lead, and Twist of Fate's only a half length back. Then comes Atayeb, and behind that Capiera. Now Hawam gets the shake up and comes into the lead. Twist of Fate comes towards the outside to make a race of it. It's Hawam by a length and a quarter. Twist of Fate is trying to wear it down over the last 100. Hawam still being kept together. Twist of Fate is trying to make a race of it, but Hawam's going on, and Hawam will win it. Twist of Fate will get second, Capiera third, Zilzal fourth, then Thanksgiving, Charles and Atayeb.
Well, there you go, Kev. Hawam, how good is he?
I love him. I've followed his career, and I've never seen him in the flesh. And I went with Matthew Sham and all the guys, Philip, Faria and that, and I watched him get off the float. Wow. When he walked off the float, James, he's a magnificent looking horse. And like you say, he was an absolute gentleman today. But Mark hit the nail on the head. No disrespect to Gavin last time. He wanted to take the horse out when he got loose at Turfentine. He wanted the horse to carry on ringing around, let the horses go to the start, then get on him and take him to the start. So he's not behind the pens for a long time. And the horse saw the other horses going to the post, and he wanted to go. He thought, I'm going with this lot.
You know what? It's all in the past. These things happen, and these are terrible vagaries of horse racing, because you never know. You're dealing with these animals. You never know what they're going to do or what they're thinking. When you're sitting on top of them, you're trying to work out what they're thinking the whole time.
Anton gets on him very well. On Saturday, like you say, he was an absolute gentleman. Got on him in the back, ringed him around with the lead horse. He went straight to the start, but... I think he's a special horse.
Yeah, Wilgerbos Maritzfontein bred him. As we've
well
said, he is
a
million rand yearling, owned by the Sheikh. And the benefits he brings to South African horse racing are unbelievable. And this is just another one of them. We just talk quickly about the Lonsdale, because unfortunately we haven't got the footage for the Lonsdale. But a triumph for Sean Terry. We're going to be talking to him just now. How's he brought this horse Liege back? This horse won a Group 1. He won the Summer Cup.
Yeah,
he's a bloody good horse.
There was a lot of talk about him on the course, and I just...
Well, the weights he was...
at the weights, yeah. But I just thought 552 days, no win, he getting it on a little bit. But Sean Terry, 3 Group 1s last week. Now the Lonsdale, it's the same names again, James. Sean Terry, Justin Snaith, Mark de Kock.
Yeah, Crawford.
Brett Crawford, and you get Candice Bass-Roberts. The same names come up to the fore for the feature races, and that's how it is. They got the stock.
They got the biggest buying power. They got the best horses.
100%.
Good luck to them. They deserve it, because they're
100%.
all champions of their trade. Let's just have a look at Magic Millions and see what we've got to come, because we've just had the weaning sale, which was an unbridled success. We've got the yearlings coming this week. Let's see their graduate from Australia.
Mystic Journey going well. Mystic Journey by over 2. Mystic Journey does it easily. Fedora in front. Unlucky last year. She's the hero tonight, Fedora. Boom Sarah Bondi out back. Barbie, they hit the line. Boom Sarah.
Right, there you go. I think we had a winner from Magic Millions. Was I think Street Flyer won during the week, and so they keep on coming. And obviously, Dom Piero, there we are. He won last week, Street Flyer. Dom Piero won. Remember, went to the front, went round the whole field and ended up won. Yeah. I think it was by all too hard. I think he can run that horse. Anyway, this week's yearlings there at Magic Millions, and we will be there with all the right people doing the stuff at Magic Millions. So get hold of us if you need any help. And we're going to move on and have a look at the Investec Derby now. It stood out about this Derby. One was Galileo.
Every single horse. You explain it, James, because it's hard to explain. But I mean, how powerful must a stallion be in the biggest race in the world? As you know, you can't run geldings.
Yeah,
Colts only, because it's a horse that wins this is an automatic stallion.
5 by Galileo, 6 by sons of Galileo, and 2 are the daughters of Galileo, all granddaughters of Galileo.
What?
So 13 runners went to the post. Galileo was the total influence. But O'Brien had the whole team in here. And the interesting thing is that the one that won, was favourite in January.
100%.
Yeah. And what a presentation they did. They had 12 presenters that did the whole Oaks weekend. It was just brilliant. You know, ITV got a lot of flack for when they took over from BBC and running the show, and they got the contract. But they've done an amazing job. And I just think that what I like about them is that there's so many experts, people that you can throw them any question you like, they're able to answer. From Bruff Scott, who's got to be 75,
Jason Weaver.
All the way down to Jason Weaver.
Ex-jockey.
And to Johnny Murder, your mate. Johnny Murder. Yeah.
Johnny Murder, he
Yeah.
couldn't tip a winner again.
Yeah.
No, Johnny,
That's right.
my boy Johnny. Hasn't put on weight, he's looking quite healthy for a trainer.
No, not
Going
bad.
grey.
Let's go and pick him up at the start and watch Shamie Heffernan, who's done all the work at Ballydoyle. No more deserving jockey win a race than Shamie Heffernan. Let's go and see what happened.
Broome is the last in. They're ready for the 2019 Investec Derby. And they're off. Racing away from the 1.5 mile start, Broome and Humanitarian were a little bit slow to go. Telecaster is out boldly. So too Anthony Van Dyke and Circus Maximus ridden forward with Norway in the white cap towards the outside. They're chased by Line of Duty. And then Mad Moon midfield with Japan and Bangkok and Sir Dragonet on the outside, Hiroshima. Broome is second last and Humanitarian is the early back marker as they race right-handed through a few shadows. And it's now Sovereign that bounds on as they cross across to the inside, and Sovereign leading the way as they go up the hill by a couple of lengths or so. To in second place Norway. They're tracked by Telecaster and Circus Maximus. Another 2 lengths to Line of Duty on the inside of Sir Dragonet, and they're getting quite well strung out as they climb the hill. Further back is Anthony Van Dyke alongside Bangkok, and then Mad Moon together with Japan, Hiroshima, Broome and Humanitarian as they now race inside the final mile. So the pace looking earnest here. It's looking strong, and it's set by Sovereign, one of the Aidan O'Brien 7 runners leading the Ballydoyle team here. Sovereign by a couple of lengths to Norway second. Circus Maximus in third. Telecaster is handy in fourth. Then a break of about 4 lengths back to Line of Duty in the dark blue jacket. Ryan Moore on Sir Dragonet as they begin to run down the hill now. Bangkok further back, and then on the inside Anthony Van Dyke followed by Japan, and then Mad Boone is further back in the field. They remain quite well strung out. Broome is moving up out wide, and then towards the rear Hiroshima in the noseband and Humanitarian. On the descent now towards Tattenham Corner. They've got 5 furlongs left to cover, and Sovereign is out clear, chased by Norway in second place. Telecaster on the inside of Circus Maximus, then Line of Duty. Sir Dragonet is just in behind these, about 6 lengths off the pace as Broome now makes good progress on the wide outside. They're followed by Mad Moon. Behind those is Anthony Van Dyke. Line of Duty making ground in the all blue jacket. Bangkok further back down the home straight. Sovereign and Norway coming back to the field. Circus Maximus to Dragonet on the outside. Mad Moon is right there now inside the final 2 furlongs. Mad Moon and Sir Dragonet chased by Broome in third. Then Anthony Van Dyke down the outside. Japan is running on well. Mad Moon and Sir Dragonet fighting it out. Anthony Van Dyke on the far side inside the final furlong. Anthony Van Dyke, Sir Dragonet and Mad Moon racing up towards the line. On the near side Japan with Broome. Anthony Van Dyke has won it. Anthony Van Dyke is another win in the Derby for Ballydoyle.
Well, if that doesn't excite you, nothing will.
Nothing will excite you.
I mean, gee, what a race. And as we said, some little points about the Derby winner that you might not know is that he is out of a mare who bred and raced in Australia, and she was sold at Magic Millions initially in 2007 as a yearling on the Gold Coast sale for 300,000. Okay. She ended up winning a Group 3. She went through the sales ring with the Patnack de Cercel and all that type of aggravation that was going on. 1.1 million. MV Magna bought her from a Tunga stud. Nutty's our mate owns a Tunga. And MV Magna then decided to take her back to England or back to Ireland, where she was covered by Galileo, and this is what she produced.
Absolutely
So how's
wonderful.
Australian breeding, how strong are they?
But the guy, the owner, is the breeder as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Well, Orpendale and them, they have all these syndicates that breed themselves with mares, you know, so they breed them and race them themselves. They have all these syndicates that have champion mares that
they bring them in there and they go from there. But
they go to Galileo and they breed them.
James, I think Johnny Murter summed it up. First of all, the Derby. People don't realise. You've got to take a horse past that huge crowd. You've got to get him to the 2-4.
Yeah.
You know how uphill it is. You know how it is. It's a long way. You've got to get a horse to settle. No sweating, no panicking, no
It's
pulling.
impossible track.
That's to get it to the start.
Yeah.
You've got to have a horse then that's got to have pace
Yeah.
to jump out and go uphill for the first 2 furlongs. and crossover from the inside to the outside. So your one draw becomes the worst draw, then becomes the good draw, and vice versa. You've got to have a horse then that stays the 2-4-50, that can handle
Because you've got to run uphill, and it slopes inwards.
and go over 3 roads.
And you've got to run down a hill,
That can stop anything. You actually saw the winner, he was going backwards down the hill, was hating every minute. You've got to have a balanced horse that goes there, and then you've got to go onto a cambered straight to downhill, and then the last 100, 125 meters, you've seen that picture from the behind the winning post. It's like going up Fields Hill.
Yeah, exactly.
And you've got to have a horse to do all those things. And if you fault with one of those things, that's the end of your race, not just the Derby at Epsom, but the Derby, you've got to have some.
Well, you watch the Oaks the day before, the favourite.
He looked home and dry.
The Ravenholland rode Gosden's other horse, which got into the worst trouble I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, and he accepted it. He said, listen, that's the way it happens. Epsom is like that, and I've ridden there, James. It's a very, very difficult track to ride on.
We know.
And that's 2-4. I only went 1400.
I went 2-4.
Yeah, you went 2-4.
Right, Winning Ways. Okay, this is the name of our show. And Winning Ways won the Queensland Oaks, named after us, obviously. She's 110,000 Gold Coast Magic Million sale by declaration of war out of a Galileo mare. So, please, win everywhere. What else we got? I think that's about it.
No, one more. I've got to give you this news.
Okay.
Zach Burton, Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Last week we told you, him and Marrero, 10 winners. Yesterday, Marrero and him, 9. Zach, 2 meetings in a row, 2 Sundays in a row, he's won 6 winners, a record. His stakes, he's broken all-time record.
He's running against a whole lot of washed-up South Africans. That's why he's doing so well.
Kira Steeton don't want to hear that, eh? And Joe
You're not
Marrero,
running against Frankie and Kieran Fallon.
No. 207 million Hong Kong dollars with 11 meetings still to go. He's broken the all-time record. Wow. Is he going to be a celebrity in Hong Kong?
Fantastic
Is he not
stuff.
A celebrity?
Fantastic stuff. I'd like to have what he gets in bonuses from
Red
his
envelopes.
owners. Okay. Kev, thanks so much for joining us. We've got VJ coming from the Rising Sun, and we've got Sean Terry after that. It should be a good show. You'll enjoy it. Right, well, here we go. As I told you in your call, we've got a couple of guests. We got Vijay Maharaj coming after Sean Terry, but we got Sean Terry to come into the studio, and the reason being not only because it's great fun to have him here, but what he did last week at Scottsville was absolutely, truly remarkable. To win 3 Group 1s on a day is remarkable in itself, but nearly to win the 4 is unbelievable. Sean, congratulations. It was just unbelievable experience. And how did it build? How did it all feel to you?
Yeah, thanks, James. It's great to be here. You know, those days when they happen, you normally start off well and things just keep going, and you really can't believe it. But funny enough, on the day, my first runner I thought would run well, Rigadora. He didn't get in a good spot. Gaps closed, got beat 2 lengths. And then the horse that I was really confident with, Cavivar, I thought she would win. And, you know, the course bias or perceived bias, you didn't know which side the going is on, but you do know that down the inside is pretty safe. And, you know, my older horses were all drawn towards the outside. So I thought, based on form, well-being, everything, this filly is my best chance. Although I rated Chimichurri an equal chance to her, he was drawn wide. And geez, the fact that she got beat, I said, wow, this is not
Devastating.
This is not good today, because I think, you know, she had the most in her favour. Then obviously Eden Rock came along, and we knew 12's going to be a touch sharp, but he's drawn on the right side. You know, I don't know how strong the colts are, but the Cox horse looks like the right horse. And gee, everything just went so smoothly for us, and obviously didn't go smoothly for Michael's horse.
Yeah.
And
Just talking about Eden Rock, there's a story to him. How did you end up acquiring him? And you know,
well, the mother's Townsend,
yeah,
and she's a sister to a horse that I trained called Regal Ransom,
yeah,
that won the big race in Joburg for me, the Group 1 there. And then I had a horse called Yamato that is a brother to Eden Rock, and I always thought the world of him, and he just never stepped up and got to the top division that I thought he would. He was a smashing horse, beautiful mover, and
is he not just a very late maturer? It's quite interesting. He's a dynasty, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. James, he's got everything in his favour. He's a wonderful mover, good-looking horse. Eden Rock doesn't look half the horse that Yamato is, and I just bought him thinking, you know, if Yamato goes on, you know, to have left this horse behind at 300 grand would be criminal. And yeah, that's the story basically. You know, families, James, when a family is good to you, you stick with it. They always seem to keep paying you back somehow.
Yeah. Well, you started with the filly that won you the apples.
Golden Apple.
Yeah. Won you what was that? The Phillies Guineas at Gosford
Phillies Guineas
Park,
in Joburg, yeah.
And then a Lancome or something.
Well, Lavington, she got beat to short head.
Yeah.
And
you
produced Pomodoro, and the rest is history.
Yeah, well, that family's just been unbelievable, but you stuck with that family.
Yes.
All the way through.
Yeah.
Okay, so then, now, all right, you got a bit of compensation, but it's bittersweet because you look like you were very unlucky not to win the first one, the Alan Robertson.
Yes.
It just did look unlucky. I know you got beaten, but there was a lot of interference.
You know what? We just found the wrong horse in the middle of us. The horse was going nowhere. The jockey was all over the show.
Yeah.
And you know, when you're drawn on the inside and you're happy to be drawn on the inside, you sort of getting frustrated. Now you're down the middle and you're getting the worst of it. What are you doing down the middle? But anyway, that's just the way it goes. You know, it just doesn't open up like the Red Sea. Things don't go right all the time. But you know, of the juveniles, we were pretty happy to have then at least squared up with the next one. And it was starting to look rosy. Celtic Sea's a filly I've always thought the world of, and I had a lot of confidence in her on the day. However, the draw, I thought, you know, I can't have the same confidence as the other horses. She was fantastic. She was absolutely unbelievable, and you know, that race has always been lucky for me. I've won it a good few times, and she won it in good style. Obviously, we had healthy respect for Snowdance. We thought, obviously, she hasn't got the form over 12, but she looks like she could easily be a 1,200 meter horse. She's been stiff over the mile, always seems to find one to beat her, and we thought she would be a tough nut to crack, but wow. And obviously for Anthony Beck, 2 runners, gets beat to short head in the one Group 1 and wins the other Group 1, and I mean, those are the 2 that he's got in training with me.
Well, it's fabulous that he's got horses in training with you, and long may he have them, because, you know, the Beck family is synonymous with South African racing. You know, Graham Beck, bringing Graham Beck into racing all those years ago, and I know my parents were very good friends with him, has changed the face of racing with Highlands and all the things that he did.
And obviously as a young guy, you always saw those colours in the winner's enclosure, and, you know, it was actually had a lot of respect for those colours, and to have them in your yard in a Group 1 winning, you know, it's a great feeling. Okay, so now you come, you won 2 Group 1s, okay, you got beat a short head in the other one. I made Chimichurri run an absolute blinder. And when you put Danielson on it, I thought that's a stroke of genius, okay? Because Danielson rides very well for you in big races. I don't think he rides very well for you in a small race, because I think that he's in a coma, and he'll take that the way I've said it, because it's just tongue-in-cheek. Yeah. But I mean, in big races, he is as good as anyone. Yeah, listen, he's a great athlete. He's got great balance. He's got good hands, and he's just sometimes not as consistent as you'd like a person like him, someone that you want to rely on. But he's as good as the best of them on his day. And I mean, he's ridden 4 Group 1s for me. So there's no You don't have to worry about him in the big races. You know he's got the metal, he's got the BMT. But Jimmy had an outstanding preparation, very, very well weighted. Obviously, I had the line with Cirillo in the drill hall, and you know, with undercover agents. I was pretty confident with his prep, with the handicap. The only thing was the draw, but once Celtic C won, then now I'm not worried about the draw anymore. I was very confident going into the race. And obviously, Trip to Heaven too was pretty well handicapped. And you know, people don't realise what a good horse Africa Rising is.
Yeah.
They've got short memories. This horse, you know, as a young 3-year-old, he had done nothing wrong. He mixed it with the best of them. And 1 or 2 ordinary runs. I mean, after the Guineas, I tried the ground, didn't work. And little moves like that started blotting his copybook. But when we brought him back to the sprints and the 1400s, did very little wrong. And yeah, I was pretty confident with the 3 of them that one of them would win it. Obviously, Chimmy was my fancy. I think Raymond got quite lucky to get the right, because I wasn't prepared to take Lyle off Trip to Heaven. We've just got him right.
Yeah.
And you know,
and Lyle rides him well.
He rides him well, and you can't just put anybody on the horse. And the same funny with Africa Rising. I mean, he takes a certain type of ride, and Luke was 2 from 2 on him. So I didn't want to fiddle with those 2. And you know, people said, "Wow, you haven't got a jockey for Chimichurri." I said, "Well, don't worry, we'll find the right jock." Funny enough, I was going to put Samanga back on him, and he was riding in Cape Town on the day. That's just how the cards fall.
Yeah.
And Raymond found himself on the horse, and he did everything right. He rode a perfect race. I don't think Chimmy enjoys the stick. He was just with the hands. He followed the right horses. Split came, and he produced the horse at exactly the right time. And you know, it's the Raymond Danielson that we know.
Got to be the best day you've ever had racing. I know there are other days that probably in your memory will last forever, but this is something that very few people get close to.
Listen, it's the second time I've had 3 Group 1s on a day. It's I mean, you can't. But the fact that we nearly had a clean sweep.
Yeah.
I mean,
that
would have stood for a long, long time, I think, James. I mean, you know, that was nearly a big deal. And whatever we did take home it was a big deal anyway. And we're just so happy to have produced the goods. It's a tough, even if you've got the numbers and you've got the good horses, to step up and do it each time, it's not easy. You know, there's a big expectation out there, and people just assume, oh, you got the numbers, you got the good horses. We heard Mark the other day saying about Hawam, it's the first really good horse he's had since Vercingetorix. And so it just shows you that you don't always have the aces in your stable.
All right, so that's now in the memory bank. Saturday was another unbelievable feat. You know, it's only a Group 3, but I mean, what you've done with Liege is well worth talking about.
I think the best thing I did with Liege was just keep him in training, because it's easy to give up with a horse like him. I never had an excuse, James. That was the problem. So after the Summer Cup, I got clever, well handicapped, put him away for the July. I just couldn't get him to bounce into gear. He just wasn't the same after the break. And didn't matter what I try, I was going nowhere. And I said, you know what? He's a dynasty, just put him over ground. And he travelled a little bit too well in the Gold Bowl in Joburg. And he actually pulled at a stage in the race for quite some time. And
Which he never does.
He doesn't travel.
Yeah.
So obviously now he's looking for the ground. You can see it, but he's over-raced. And he hasn't gotten beaten far. Well, you know, the amount of work that he did, if he got beaten 10 lengths, it would have still been a good run. I just said, no. We are right here now. We found the answer. It took me a year, but we found it. Came back to a nice mark of 95. And yeah, this always looked like the right race, and prepping him towards the Gold Bowl, obviously.
Yeah.
Gold Cup.
Yeah, Gold Cup, which is going to be a natural for him.
Yes.
And you must have been disappointed that Wanderous Climber came out. So now, you know, you think to yourself, I'm left with Liege.
You know, the thing is that I think both of them, I mean, obviously Liege did enjoy the course and distance, but I think Wanderous Climber was dying for it. And you know, a horse that just goes off the manger that week, you still travel him, and you're looking for trouble. So you know what, you missed this one, we'll make it up on the roundabouts. So yeah.
Okay, we're halfway through the big season. Any predictions for the rest of the season? July, what do you like? What do you got?
Well, listen, I've got 4 horses.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's looking like place money I'll be happy with. But I think Legal Eagle, off the weight that he's got, 55.5. Yeah, no, that's very interesting.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
You know, he had a little incident after Cape Town. He got some nasty cuts and scratches on the right back, and it took us some doing to nurse him back for the horse chestnut. Listen, he wasn't quite at his best, but at the same time in a mile, he does like to go forward. It was a slow run race. And then obviously we had the bad draw in the 2000 and we had to sit at the back of the field in what turned out a very, very slow run race.
Yeah.
But he finished like a steam train. And now you got a rating of 116. You say, wow, I'm definitely not going to go the same route I go every year.
Yeah.
I've only ducked the July because of the top weight every year, but now this is worth a look. I mean, Brahm and the boys are pretty excited to have a crack at the July. And yeah, we'll prep him in a Pinnacle plate on Sunday to keep the handicappers off our back, and hopefully he gives a nice showing.
There's a lot more to this game than just what happens on a Saturday, isn't there?
100%.
You've got to put the whole thing together.
A lot of scheming and planning, and you know, it's not, when people say scheme, it's not that you actually,
No,
it's that it's strategic.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
there
a
are a lot
strategy.
of, there are a lot
Yeah.
of different options. And,
like
and
Game of Thrones,
that's it, and you need to pick the right
the right battle.
route.
Yeah.
You know, the right route. There's a lot of roads that can take you all over the place. If you get lost on the way, it's not so, you don't find your way back too easy, and that's the bottom line.
Sean, it's been fantastic having you in the studio. Thanks so much for joining us, and for the rest of the season, obviously, we wish you all the best. Hope you have a good one.
Thanks, James.
There you go, Sean Tarry with us in the studio just to talk about last Saturday, which I believe in the context of what horse racing is all about, was one of the feats that I've seen while I've been alive. You know, to run a short head second and then went through group ones. You know, if a jockey rides the jackpot, you say he's a genius. Here's a trainer. You know, jockeys have choices of all types of rides. He had a trainer nearly trained all 4 group ones, and it was a bloody close nearly. We'll be back with Vijay Maharaj from the Rising Sun. Oh, there you go. Once you've seen all of that, I don't know why we need to talk to anyone, but you know what? We do have to talk to the right people. Vijay Maharaj, congratulations, and thank you for coming again for the 16th year. I think you've been to the Winning Ways studios every year that your race has been run, and it's a fabulous race.
It's been, and thanks to Gold Circle, that they afford us the opportunity as Rising Sun to host this very prestigious event, and an event that we had annually for the last 16 years. We seem to attract more and more people every year, and once again, we're looking forward to the race this Saturday.
Well, Rising Sun newspaper really supports horse racing. You have a very good racing page, and you keep people in the know, and as a result, you bring a tremendous crowd to the races.
Fortunately, you know, the main reason why we get involved in this Rising Sun Gold Challenge Racing Carnival is purely to support an organization, as in a charitable organization. And I'm proud to announce that for 16 years we were able to support 16 different charities over the years. And hence we chose to do this with Gold Circle for the past 16 years.
That's admirable, because tying charities to horse racing is very important. What charity have you got this year?
This year we've got the Shrizana Civic Association who's been selected as the beneficiaries for 2019.
And every year you get how much money for charity?
Look, it just depends on the charity. The proceeds from food stalls, proceeds from raffles and so on goes to charity. The exact amount I won't be able to tell you. It just depends on the charity. Some charities work a lot harder than others and they raise a lot more money than others.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting, this way that the Rising Sun puts together this event with Gold Circle, because this event is really one of the most fantastic horse racing events on the calendar. You don't just support charities, you get a huge amount of people that you bring to the races who are followers of your newspaper and followers of Rising Sun and the Indian community.
Yes, I think, you know, it's a way of showing gratitude to our supporters. So we have something for everybody. This year we've got Celsi, who's come on board to have a children's corner. They've got jumping castles and activities for kids, face painting and so on, free slush puppies and candy floss and popcorns and so on. So thanks to Celsi. We've got a car giveaway, a brand new Toyota Ego to the value of 175,000 Rand with the courtesy of Toyota Malanda, halfway Toyota Malanda. We also host more than 5,000 senior citizens every year. And I think, you know, we feel duty-bound to host these senior citizens. These are people who supported us in our early days of our publication. And we feel that we need to give back to them. And every year we host them together with Kitchen Studio. We'll be providing meals for all our senior citizens.
Yes, I see them. They come to the races and they love the races. And this is an initiative maybe a racing industry should take up. Because why should it only be on your race day that we have senior citizens come to the races? Surely we should be trying to help them all the way through and bring them to the races. They love racing.
I think they have not many other things to do. So why not, you know, gambling, be it a little bit of horse racing or the casinos or something, or an outing. Let's call it an outing. Yeah. I mean, we've got entertainment for the entire family the entire day. And there's a day that the senior citizen looks forward to coming out and spending the day here with entertainment all day at this race course.
It's a fabulous event. You've got a fabulous race because you've got all these July handicap hopefuls lining up at a Wait for Age mile, R1,000,000. What else have you got in store? Because we'd all like to win a car, but there's all types of other things.
Yes, look, as you've mentioned, it's a Grade 1 racing. It's R1,000,000 on the main stake. It's free for the entire family. It's fun. So why not join us on the 8th? We've got entertainment, as I said. We've got the King of Comedy in the evening, Mr. Muthu Murugan, who will be here. We have Bhangra after Muthu Murugan, the comedy show with a few DJs, Dizzy D, Nishal Sarwan, and Suraj. We've got, of course, I think another very important part of the day is the fashion. This year is the African theme, and lots of people take to fashion. We seem to have a very good display of fashion. Thanks to Gold Circle here, there's 15,000 Rand in prize money towards the fashion. We've also got, with the courtesy of River Palace Tattersall's, prize money to the value of 20,000 Rand that people will win on the ground. When it comes to the car competition, with the 6 finalists will be chosen on the ground. And please be here. There's a chance of you winning this brand new car worth 175,000 Rand this Saturday, the 8th of June.
Talking about cars, you always have some lovely cars here. Have you got cars this year?
I don't think
we've got Ferraris and all types of things.
We've taken that space now to entertain the kids with our children's corner. Good. So let us provide that for the kids, so we're able to cater for everybody in the family. You know, the mums, there's food stalls, there's flea market stalls, there's the fashion going on. I think that will entertain the mums. We've got, as I said to you, with the courtesy of Celsi, a children's corner where the kids will be entertained, and I think the dads, you know, there's some horse racing for the dads.
So there's something for everyone. Vijay, We hope you have a wonderful day here at Greyville Racecourse on Saturday, the Theatre of Dreams, as we call it. And last word from you?
Please join us. It's free. It's some kind of entertainment for the entire family. And there's an outing where you can spend all day into the evening, enjoy the Bhangra with us, free comedy for the entire family. Please join us on the 8th of June here at the Greyville Racecourse.
Well, there you go, Rising Sun Gold Challenge. It's not just a day out, it is one of the features of the KwaZulu-Natal season. And I must tell you, it is a fabulous race day. Never miss it. We have a wonderful day there. Thanks to Vijay Maharaj and the CEO of Rising Sun Newspapers for coming in and helping us. And thanks for their support over the year by publishing a wonderful racing page. We'll see you on Saturday.